Hi guys, Shouvik and welcome back to our YouTube channel. So today we will solve another question from Leetcode itself. So let's get started. Yes, so today we have these problems lexicographically minimum strings after removing stars. So this problem tagged as a medium and I feel so it's an indeed brute medium for sure. So in the problem statement they have given a string S and it may contains any number of stars characters. So what it can contain? It can contain any number of star characters and your task is to remove all the star characters. So to remove a star characters, while there is a star, do the following. Delete the leftmost stars and the smallest non-star characters to its left. If there are several smallest characters, you can delete any of them. So this lines is completely trash English they have provided on this lines. Completely like no meanings it is going to create on if you are going to read it. But I will explain in our OneNote. But the actual code of your logic is actually residing on this logic only. So I will explain it. And finally, we have to return the lexicographically smallest resulting strings after removing all the star characters. Now let's try to understand the example test case. So see guys, like I am going to give you the high level. If at any particular statements, if you are not able to understand, then I am going to give you the OneNote explanations. But in an interview, there can be a possibility that you are going to get very unclear problem statement then and you have to dig on your own. So maybe on interviewer going to help you, but let's suppose you are in some of online assessment round, then you have to understand the problem statement no matter what trash English they have provided you. You have to understand the problem statement by either from problem statement, what is the what best you can get, you have to try to get it from the problem statement, and rest you have to get it from the example test case. So it is very important you will if you are not able to understand the problem statement, you will try to simulate your understanding from the given example test case. So here you can see in the example test case it is A, B, A and star. So what you can do, so on the output it is A, B. So we should delete one of the A characters with star. So as it is a star, so as it is a star, so what they have mentioned, if that is a star, we have to delete the smallest. So this is a complete trash things. First get rid of this. So consider it is not there. So if we are going to encounter a star, then from its left, what is the smallest non-star elements? What is the smallest non-star character to its left? What it is? So here if you are encountered a star, on its left, the smallest non-star elements is A only. And which indexes it has possible? It is in 0, 1 and 3. 0, 1, 3. Right? S of 0, S of 1 and S of 3, A is there. Now if there are several smallest characters, you can delete any of them. And finally, we have to return the lexicographically smallest. So if you are not aware of lexicographically smallest, I have already explained to my past video, but let's just reiterate to you guys if you are directly jump on this particular video. So if A and B, if two strings you are going to consider which one is lexicographically smaller, so the one which is lexicographically smaller should have, if you have two pointers set from its starting to right iterations, if you have two pointers set, so where the first delta you have encountered between your string A and string B, on that particular index character who is smaller is the lexicographically smaller. I have already explained in my past video with OneNote explanations. If you are not able to understand, I will definitely suggest to go to that OneNote explanations to understand what is lexicographically smaller. But I am considering you know lexicographically smaller elements if I am going to give you two strings and I just want to know which one is lexicographically smaller out of them, then you should be aware to answer. So here if you can see, so we have on its left the smallest characters is nothing but A. Now we have several. So which one we have to delete so that we can generate the lexicographically smaller. So here you can see if we choose S3, so S becomes lexicographically smallest. So S becomes lexicographically smallest. So if you delete this, so your resultant strings becomes A, B, right? Your resultant strings becomes A and B. So this is a complete trash. Right, this example test case is a complete trash. You are not going to get anything because there is no star at all. And on constant you can see it is as big as 10 raised to the power 5. And so you definitely have to think of kind of big of n or log n kind of solutions, because apart from that anything is going to give you a TLE. And S consists of lowercase English letter and star which are expected, the inputs generated such that it is possible to delete all stars characters. So that is already be handled by the example test case itself. Right? So now if we can go to our OneNote to understand more on these particular lines, and on the simultaneously we will build our intuitions. At the same go we will build our intuitions. So let's consider an arbitrary. Let's consider an arbitrary strings A, B, A, C, B, then star sum, then A, C, then star star, X, Y, then let's suppose star, then another star. So let's consider these strings. Let's consider these strings. So we are for sure we are going to iterate from starting to right, from left to right, we will iterate. So now when you are going to encounter a star here, what you have to look for, to its left, starting from this point to its left, what are non-star characters we have encountered? So these all are the non-star characters we have encountered. Now out of them, which one is the smallest? So the non-characters count, if I am going to write it to in terms of indexes, so A, B, C. So these three non-star characters we have encountered. So if I am going to write their indexes, so A has occurred 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 0, 2, 3. These positions A has occurred. B has occurred 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that means 1 and 5 B has occurred. And C has occurred 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Agree guys? So now, so that is the non-star characters we currently have. So why I have represent like this way? There is obviously a reason. Because like this way, you have multiple characters, and what is the max size? The max size could be Z, and Z could have some indexes which should it is holding the value. So the maximum key size is nothing but 26 only. Agree guys? Agree? Because small a to small z. So now when we are landing to a particular star, I am able to determine what are the non-star characters we have encountered. Maybe we can store it for sure in a default dict, which is basically giving me a default dict of, tell me guys, you should be able to tell, like after solving 85 plus video, you should be able to tell what is the data structure we have to use here. Default dict of list. So we have this default dict of list ready. Yes, we are ready with this. So now we know in our default dict of list, we have the characters, we have the non-star characters. Now what we are looking for? We are looking for the smallest one. So how we will iterate? We should iterate from 97 to 122. Because we definitely want to iterate from A to Z, because on your default dict, because that is a default dict, right? So on default dict, maybe B key has occurred earlier of your A key, right? Then on that case, if you are iterate to your default dict in the order of the key, then maybe you are going to miss it, because that is a default dict, that is not a ordered dict. Then you have to use the ordered dicts. On ordered dict, I think the time complexity also going to be changed. It is going to do its calculations to store the key value. Then it is more than the time complexity that you are expecting it is going to do. So it is best, no matter what way my default dict has stored its key. Maybe B has prior of A, maybe C is the top, then we got some A, then we got some B, then Z. Let's suppose after that I got the D, E. So there can be any way of the key between small a to small z only. So how we can? So we can't iterate in the way of forward iterations on the key of the default dict they have. So we have to iterate from small a to small z. Agree guys? That is our ASCII of 97 to 122. That is the ASCII value. And what we are looking for? So we are looking for, if my lane of, that is we are doing multiple times. If you saw our last video, then you should be able to solve these problems on your own. So we are basically looking for, I can store it to my character is nothing but, tell me guys, chr of this. Let's suppose it is a j loop we are iterating from 97 to the chr of j. So I will query my character to my default dict. If its length is there, so that means this characters is already there to my this representations, to my this default dict. That is my default dict, right? So when it has some length, so that means this characters has occurred some indexes. This list has some length. Agree? And if it is so, then what we are looking for? Now tell me guys, now actually the intuition. So this, I am pretty sure you guys should be able to solve it. So when we have multiple, like the smallest characters, what it is A. Now there are multiple occurrences of A. Now they have asked to remove any of them. Which one you are going to remove, so that it is going to be lexicographically smaller? If I am going to remove the faster one, then my resulting strings becomes B, A, which I am writing till this point. You are going to get it. B, A, S, then some dot, right? Then some dot. But if I am going to remove this, then my resulting strings becomes this A, then this B, yes, this A, then this B, then this A, right? So which one is lexicographically smaller? BAA or ABB? Yes, ABA is the lexicographically smaller. But rather than removing this, if I am going to remove these characters, then my resulting strings becomes A, B, A only, A only, and post that it is going to get CBO, because these two has like consecutive. Now let's take one more example so that you can get the gist in A B. Now get it. So no A's are consecutive. Now you have two options. Either in out of them you have to remove any of them. We got a star here. Now which one? The first one, though, we are not going to remove, because if you remove the first one, resulting strings becomes B A B A B, right? If you remove this one, then your result, focus guys on this is the actual intuitions. A B, then this is removed, B A B, right? That is if you remove this. But if you remove this, then A B, then you are going to get a B. Now tell me guys, which one is the smallest out of them? Yes, this and this. Who is the smallest? This one is the smallest because this has starting S, so it is going to be rejected. Now out of them, equal, unequal, and one is B, second one is A. Which one own? This one own. So finally the winner is last one. So the smallest one. Why do you have to remove? That is the intuitions, guys. That is the intuitions you have to formulate on your own in your interview. There is no alternate. You are going to like qualified on the interview if you are not able to build such intuitions in the interview time. You have to. After solving 85 plus problems, you have to build the intuitions on your own. So we should be like very greedy. Which A we are going to? So if there are multiple occurrences of the smallest characters, we are going to remove the last one. Because like this, we have the smallest characters always be present. Always with the more number of smallest characters is always be present to my left, which is making my strings to be lexicographically smaller in all the time. Right? So now we can go to our like pseudocode only. So now when we got the length, we are looking. We want to remove the which one? We are going to directly go to DD of characters. I'm directly going to pop it the last characters, last index A occurrence. That's it. That only I want to do. Right? So there is for sure a for loop running here for this. So that is a J loop from 97 to 122, and when we got something, so we definitely break it, because we remove one character, because that is the conditions, right? When you encounter a star to its left, who is the smallest one, you can remove its any one of occurrence. So we readily remove its one occurrence, that is the highest index where the smallest one has encountered. So we removed it. That's it. That's just we have to do, right? That's all about the intuitions. You don't have to play any other games, any other things to it, and you can define your answer to be initially as big as like big of n only. So you can define every positions as a star of size of big of n. Now your default dict is actually holding which of the keys, the characters. Your default dict is what it is holding. You have removed from your default dict. So your default dict is the source of truth, right? Who is the source of truth here? Your default dict is the source of truth, right? So that is our default dict. So default dict is the source of truth. So now what we can do? So we are not sure. So like maybe if I'm going to so let's iterate to our default dict, and let's set whatever the characters we have at, let's set them to our answer at least. So I'm going to iterate for characters in my default dict, that is the key, and I know for index in where default dict of characters, I got the indexes where it has occurred, and set them. I will going to set them for answer of index. I'm going to set the characters all together. So on that index, this characters is bound to be happen after performing the trimming operations, of the star operations that we did, because that we have already done here. So now my default dict has streaming. Now my answer. So I have put. So basically my default dict is holding the stream data of the characters, but I am not sure what is the size of the resultant answer is going to be generated. So for safety, to not get array index out of bound, I have initialized the answer with all the star characters of size of initial s only. N is nothing but the initial s only. Now what we have just pending, we have set the correct characters after the entire operations to the correct index of the answer only. Now we just have to remove the stars. We have to trim out the stars from the entire answer. So we can take one more variables of result. We can initialize to be empty, and we can do a single for each in answer. We have to push the value to my result only if each not equals to a star character. If that is not a star character, because we just have to trim the stars from my answer only. So result plus equals to this each characters. Yes, that's all you have to do. Finally, you will be very happy to return your result because that has trimmed off the stars also and the characters also set on the correct indexes. So now we can quickly go to our code iterations. So on the code I have written the exact same things that I have explained there. So dd equals to dd n and size I have initialized. So I think this size is also not required. So we can get rid of them. So for I in range n, I am iterating. So if we are encountered a non-star value, so we don't have any options, we are going to push this particular characters index to my default. So that is the character as a key and the value is the index, and else if it is a star, then I am iterating from 97 to 123. So 97 to 122 actually, but Python is taking the last index as an exclusive, so 123. Now I have populate my characters, that is of chr of j, and if I have found this characters is present in my default dictionary, then pop it out and break the for loop, because I got my smallest characters and I remove greedily I remove its last occurrence. So here they have mentioned if there are several smallest characters, you can delete any of them, but ideally we understood to get the lexicographically smallest, we have to delete the last occurrence. If they give the last occurrence of them, then they have actually given you the intuitions altogether. But that is the beauty. So they have asked to delete any of them, but we have to delete the last occurrence of the smallest characters. So we done it, and my answer becomes of, now we initialize my answer to be star of n, because we have to trim the start positions. Now I know my default dict is correctly holding the character index mapping. So let's just put that. Let's just put that to my answer. So I have put my answer of index to the characters. I have just doing the standard iterations to my default dict and put them. Yes. That's only I have did. And if my result, then I have initialized my result, and I know my answer has some positions where star is present. That stars are obsolete. I just have to trim them off. So I am iterating another for loop for each in answer, and if each not equals to star, then only I am going to consider it to result plus equals to each. And finally I am getting my result, returning my result. So that's it on the high levels, on the problems and the entire intuitions building, guys. And now we can quickly discuss the time complexity for this particular algorithm. So that is completely trash, their time complexity things. That is going to give any shit things. So the time complexity, tell me guys, you should be able to tell on your own if you are following our last videos in rigorous basis. So how many times the particular characters can be visited? So although we are running, so that is an in loop for sure. And if we are going to encounter the non-star elements, then what is, how many times we are going to encounter? It is going to encounter 26 times only. So can we consider it is a kind of constant? So we can write it. It is of big of 26. That is the maximum iterations it can have, right? So if the smallest characters is z altogether, then on that case it is going to iterate in all the cases. So I can write it in big of 26 into n at very worst case, because we are only going to encounter star if we have some supportive elements. So for supportive elements, we are not iterating. If it is non-star, then we are just pushing to my default dict, right? So on that case, this 26 factors is not going to be valid. Plus, there are more factors. This is completely a big of, this characters is big of 26, and we are iterating to all the indexes, so 26 into n. So we can consider it's big of 26 into n, another big of 26 into n here. And here I have iterating to my answer only, so that is going to be take of big of n only. So the final time complexity, can I write it in kind of 26 plus 26, that is of 52 plus 1, that is of 53 into n, big of 53n. Yes, I can. And on space complexity, what are the space we are using? So this is going to be a take of how many keys? 26 keys, and how many values? That is of n kind of value. So the space here is big of 26 cross n for sure, the default dict size. And this answer again we are initializing, that is going to be a take of big of n for sure, and final result we are returning, that is also a big of n for sure. So that is, you can check with your interviewer if he or she is asked you to consider them, then only consider, but results we have to return anyhow. So that space we anyhow needed, but that is not a computation space we get. So it is a 26 7 8 big of 28 cross n. It is the time complexity for this particular algo. Now if you are going to ask Leetcode what they can predict our time complexity, you have reached that is, no man, I have not checked yet. Not sure why it is asking me to, like, but I have not checked yet. So yeah guys, so that is the time and space complexity. You guys can submit on your own with the same code and check on your time complexity and do comment it out what Leetcode has predicted on your submissions. And that's it guys, that's all about from intuitions building to reach the most optimized time and space complexity I am able to achieve of. So there is a heap based solutions I read on the articles, but I feels like this is the most intuitive, and also heap based ones is also on the fine. There is no issue if you are going to submit it with heap, but here also like it is kind of like there might be a login factors is going to be incorporated, but again like our heap maximum size can grow as big of 26 only, so login factors also may be compromised there. So that is also maybe a optimal solutions, but that is also an indeed optimal solutions for sure, because the time complexity in the range of linear only, not a logarithmic factors already. So that's all about this particular solutions guys, and if you guys are able to understand till this point, so I guess you guys are already doing so. Please do subscribe to our channel, and please share the videos to your friend circle who are also preparing for top product based company and brushing up their DSS skills, and please turn on the notifications so that when you are going to live to our next video, you guys are going to get the notification as soon as possible guys. So that's it guys, that's it for today. Let's meet tomorrow with another beautiful question. Bye guys, bye.